What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Car Garage. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not up to speed with where we're at in our 1965 Honda Dream build, be sure you go back and watch the last couple of episodes because we have done a ton of awesome work. But this episode is a special one because it is the wheel episode. We've got our freshly polished aluminum center hubs. We're going to build wheels out of them. So we're going to start with adding our bearings and seals, and then lace them up with brand new stainless steel spokes to our rims. And then maybe we'll even have time to put on our tubes and tires. So without delay, let's check out these awesome polished hubs. Right? I told you that they polished up so good. It was unbelievable the first time that I unwrapped them from the polishing shop. I had no idea aluminum could turn out so nice. I mean, it's almost like chrome, right? So the first step is to take all of our hubs and pieces, add our bearings and seals, and just get them prepped for spokes and rims. So we're going to start with our rear wheel, then move to our front. Let's do it. Okay, how awesome are these? I mean, holy cow. It's unbelievable. I had no idea that just dull anodized aluminum could polish so nicely. This was a bit of a splurge for me, taking it to a polishing and buffing shop and, paying them 5 hours worth of labor to polish these hubs up. But my opinion is that this is like a lot of real estate on the motorcycle. So, what your eyes are drawn to on the bike, this is a lot of surface area. So because of that, it's worth looking nice. So that's why I went with a polished job instead of just cleaning up the original ones. Sure, it's a little bit harder to upkeep. I think that's why a lot of people don't like polishing aluminum, because they say, oh, you have to always stay after it and then you're always cleaning it. Once you polish it, then you have to keep polishing it. Listen, this isn't like a commuter bike I'm building that's going to get dirty all the time, right? I'm not super concerned about having to clean it a little bit more often than you would if it was just anodized aluminum. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Bearings, new seals, these are all set, ready to go. So now the next step is just to lace up the rims with brand new spokes. The rims are the original rims. I just cleaned them up. They look pretty good. You'll see what I mean. Not looking forward to it because it's just going to be a little bit time consuming and tedious, just spoke by spoke, and then truing each rim takes a little bit of time. But let's get to it. So here we are at the workbench ready to build the wheels. We've got our rim, we've got our center hub, we've got our spokes and nipples, and antices for the threads around the spokes as well. So let me show you here what we're working with. Okay, so the rims on the Honda Dream are the same front and back, so it doesn't really matter which one we use. You can see how nice they cleaned up. And this was just with the steel wool and metal polish. So yeah, really happy with it. We put the center hub in. You can raise the sides up if you want. I like to just because it's a little bit easier. It doesn't really matter. I have some bubble wrap from packaging on a couple pieces of cardboard under this paper just to keep everything from getting scratched. Over here we have our spokes. Every motorcycle is different. On this one we have the same length spoke. However, the inside and outside are different. Some people call it heads or tails. Basically what that is the spoke going in from the top or is it coming out? So going in, all you see is the head. So some people call that heads, or coming out, that's out. Some people call that tails. So either way, on this particular bike, the spokes are only different between in and out, not different lengths. And what makes them different is the angle. So we either have a perfect 90-degree angle of the end for the outer spokes, or the inside spokes are the angles a little bit more open. So here's the plan. We put in all the outside on one side, flip it over, all the outside on the other, then all the inside, flip it over, all the inside. What I did and what I recommend is just taking a picture of the wheel sitting there before you take it all apart. That way you can see, okay, the spokes go in this direction on this side and so on. So it's not super difficult, especially if you take a picture. Just copy it when you put it back together. This is the type of thing that I like to do myself instead of paying somebody to do it, because it's not like technically difficult, it's just laborious, right? It's just time consuming. So you're not building a spaceship here, so I feel weird paying somebody just to do, basic manual labor. So if I have the time, I like to do this stuff myself. I am more than happy to pay for skilled labor if I don't possess those skills or if I don't have the time to do the labor. But in this case, I've got a little bit of time and got a little bit of skill, so let's do it. Now that the wheels are laced up, we've got them up on our truing stand here. So this truing stand is nice because it has a little bubble level, so you can make sure that it's perfectly level here. All the spokes are still loose. We need to incrementally go around and tighten them up consistently, little by little. Make sure that hub is nice and centered. And then once they're all sort of taut, then we spin it, make sure that it's true. Pull in, push out here and there as needed to get it as nice as possible. And then go around and just tighten up little by little until each spoke is at that tightness that you want it. Then you're good to go. So now we have our trueness gauge. I don't know what you want to call it. It's really just a rod set up here. You can see it comes to a little point. And all we do is we set it so that it's a few mils away from the edge of the rim. And as we spin the rim, we look for parts of the rim that rub like it just did. So we know that different parts of the rim might be out too far that way or out too far that way. And then we just loosen and tighten the spokes accordingly to suck that rim in as needed so that it's nice and true, nice and straight all the way around. Then we also do the same thing for up and down play as well. And then we'll, tighten and loosen the top and bottom of the rim. So it's a little tedious, but it's got to be done. Bingo bango, just like that, done. All the spokes are tightened up now to their proper torque. And a few of the spokes are sticking out of the ends here. So we don't want that. We don't want it like protruding and possibly damaging the rim strip or the tube. So we're going to take the grinder, go around anywhere where they're sticking up, We're just gonna grind them down real quick and then we'll call it. All right, the rims are prepped, laced, ready to go for the rim strips, tubes, and tires. You know what, I can't even wait any longer bothering, filming all these cuts and stuff like that. Let's just get right to the money shot of these wheels and tires all done and wrapped up. Did you guess that I was going to use white wall tires? If you did, good job. It's pretty common on these types of builds to use these white walls. I couldn't be happier with how well it turned out. I'm running the Firestone Deluxe Champion vintage style tires. So it's got the vintage style, very linear tread as well, with the polished hub, the new stainless steel spokes, and the cleaned up rim. Looks really, really, really good. It's gonna look even better on the bike, so I'm pretty psyched for that. The only thing that still needs to be done is, these white walls come with like a blue ink covering the white to protect it. So you have to wash that off with soapy water. So now all the hubs are covered in like a soap scum type thing. So I polished them up pretty well, but especially the inside, you can still see some of that spotting from that. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna use. Maybe I'll need some mechanical advantage with a wheel, or I ordered, a lot of people talk about it, it's called Flitz. It's like a classic metal polish. I think my dad had like an old tube of it in his old Craftsman toolbox in the basement. So I ordered that from Amazon. I'm gonna try that because a couple of the metal polishes that I have didn't quite work as well as I'd hoped. So that's the only thing that really needs to be done until these things are ready to pop in the bike, and we'll be good to go. I decided to go with the vintage style tire, even though a lot of people say not to. Listen, this is not going to be a track day motorcycle, right? I, hopefully anyway, won't be caught in any torrential downpours. I don't care what the threshold of grip is for this particular tire, right? I'm not looking for maximum performance. So I think a lot of the haters online that kind of bash the vintage style tires because of their lack of performance, you buy something for your use. And for my use for this motorcycle, this vintage style tire, even though it won't handle as well as a modern, Pirelli Sport Demon, will be just fine for this 1965 Honda. Thanks for sticking with us until the end, guys. A big punch list item got checked off this week, which was building the wheels and mounting the tires. So now the next logical thing is to put them on the bike. So be sure you tune in next week as we mount the rear tire with the shocks and the swing arm, get this front tire on, and then, holy moly, it's gonna start looking like a motorcycle, right? And we'll hopefully remember a couple videos back when we messed up the speedometer. Well, I got that vinyl sticker in. Hopefully we'll rebuild the speedometer next week as well. And eventually I'm gonna have to stop teasing you and just show you the engine and actually put it in the bike. So maybe we'll get that done. Either way, please comment, like, and subscribe below. We'll see you next time. Thanks.